Okay, so now we've got a quadratic in polynomial form, and we're going to go and put it into X-intercept form. So if we have the function g of x equals, totally put my equal sign in the wrong place. Let's try that again, shall we? G to the x equals 2x squared plus 5.8x minus 27. Now, when we're going to go into the x-intercept form, we're going to have to find the roots. But the way we have to write it is, based on the form, is we're going to have a constant times two binomials. So what we need to go ahead and do is we need to factor out the 2. It doesn't matter if 2 goes equally into 5.8, but since 2 is right by the x squared, we have to factor out the 2. So if we pull a 2 out, we get 2 times x squared plus 2.9x minus 13.5. Okay? From there, we need to factor that. But the problem is you've got all these yucky decimals, so you can't factor it. So from here, you need to go to the wonderful quadratic formula. So when we do the quadratic formula, we're only dealing with what's inside the parentheses. So our a value would be 1, our b value would be 2.9, and our c value would be negative 13.5. So I'm going to plug that into the quadratic real quick, which gives me the opposite of b, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I'm going to go ahead and conquer the radical first. Inside the radical, when I type it in my calculator or do it in my head, I'm going to go ahead and get negative, or the opposite of 2.9 plus or minus the square root of 62.41 all over 2. From there, I need to go ahead and find what the square root of 62.41 is. From there, so I've got negative 2.9 plus or minus 7.9 all over 2. Now what happens there is this breaks up into two pieces. This guy right here means you have two operations. So you've got negative 2.9 plus 7.9 divided by 2. And then we've got negative 2.9 minus 7.9 divided by 2. So we go ahead and simplify that. This one we're going to get negative 5.4. And the top one we're going to get a positive 2.5. Okay, so we're going to take these two guys as our roots in conjunction with our 2 up here, and we're going to write it in x-intercept form. So let's go ahead and get some more page up there. So now I've got my g of x. My 2 is on the outside. I have my 2 binomials. It's going to be x. It's going to be x. I take my numbers that I got, which are 2.5 and a negative 5.4. But the problem is when it's an x-intercept form, these signs right here are the opposite. So according to my formula, so since this was a positive 2.5, it's going to be minus 2.5. Since this was a negative 5.4, it's going to be a positive 5.4. So there you go. You have your polynomial form transformed into your x-intercept form.